The legend of Arsene Lupin, gentleman thief, is a tale that has been heard by most, but the truth known only by a few. Opinions are divisive, a playful swindler or a hardened career criminal. One thing that cannot be argued, the excitement of Arsene Lupin and his antics are unrivaled.
They're just paranoid, as if Lupin's gonna get anywhere near this place.
I know you keep saying it's an impenetrable fortress, but you've heard the stories.
Don't worry, it's an easy gig. We got our posts, and that egg stays safe and sound.
Gentlemen.
An impossible undertaking for most, a walk in the park for Arsène Lupin. He was triumphant over the trials that had stood before him, but it was only with careful planning and execution that he could make every... Now, a combination was all that stood between him and his prize. The combination had to be somewhere. Would they have trusted the... Now, a combination. To mate. The terrified...
Huh?
quick rummage, and he had what he required. Oh, 09.
Huh.
8. The terrified owner's only trick. Before he tackled the colossal...
Heh. Ah. Oh. Huh.
The vault stood open like a cookie jar, just waiting for him. Carefully, now is not the time to stray.
Oh. Huh? Ah. Oh.
Curse is locked. But for every door, there is a key.
Heh. Huh? Huh. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Curse is locked. But for every door, there is a... Curse is locked.
Ah.
Curses locked. Curses locked. Hey, presto! Just a few more steps.
Ah.
A steady hand and...
Oh.
Of course, it was not the obvious that he was seeking. There was a more...
Oh. Oh.
In all its beauty, the black... All that was left to do was escape. A simple task after the gauntlet of obstacles.
If an alarm is required. Let me guess. You read that in a newspaper. They also said I ran around in a top hat and cloak. When have you ever seen that?
A little exaggeration never hurt, but it's your story to tell, if you have a different version of events.
If you want the real truth, we'll have to go back further still. Let me tell you about a young man, Bernard d'Andrézy, his investigation and how it led to my arrest. On the second day, at a distance of 500 miles from the French coast, in the midst of a violent storm, a wireless telegraph message was received. Arsene Lupin is on your vessel. First cabin, blonde hair, wound right forearm, traveling alone under the name Ray. The telegram was cut short, but by the next morning the whole ship had heard of Arsène Lupin's presence, and the deck was alive with gossip and rumors.
Can you believe it? Arsène Lupin stowed on board. I heard he once dressed as a Spanish bullfighter and a Russian physician.
Arsène Lupin, the man of 1,000 disguises. If what the newspapers say are true, he could be disguised as anyone.
Apparently, he's traveling under the name R. But before anyone says anything, it's not rosé.
The waiter at breakfast told Miss Underdown and I that he had snuck on in the dead of night in a rubber life raft.
Can you imagine it? Daring, dangerous. It's like something out of a storybook. Don't you think, Miss Underdown?
Not a book I'd read, but I can see why there might be excitement around him.
Should we be worried? I have valuables on board and the things I've heard about that man.
You've got nothing to worry about. But Miss Underdown, if you feel nervous...
Miss Gerland and I shall both be fine.
Wouldn't it be exciting if I could get a photograph of the famous Arsene?
It would certainly be some feat, as you said. A man of 1,000...
No, it wouldn't. As soon as he is caught, he'll be behind bars, where he belongs. Hey, you. Come here a second.
Bernard d'Andrézy. How do you do, Monsieur Rosen?
I see my reputation precedes me.
You did just say your name.
Oh, yes. I'll get right to the point. Miss Underdown. We're both warm-blooded males. There's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition.
It's Bernard. I wonder if I could ask you a question?
The dining hall is past the cabins.
I was more interested in the ship's unwanted guest.
If he's not fleeing from one job, he's probably moving on to the next. Maybe his target's on board.
You think he's here to rob someone? Would he really go all the way to America just for that?
From what I've heard, he's prepared to do anything to get what he wants.
There's plenty of guests on board that would be the perfect target for him. Who's got... Excuse me, miss.
Oh, you gave me an awful fright.
That's expected with Arsene Lupin on board. Allow me to introduce myself.
Lady Gerland. A cryptic telegram comes through saying a blonde man wants to steal all our belongings.
I'm not exactly sure that's what the telegram implies.
Maybe that's because you don't have as much to lose. You mean besides how he spent his life as a criminal, stealing people's hard-earned money? I've never heard Father say one good thing about him.
From what I've heard, he doesn't care what people say about him, just that they're saying something at all.
And what does that say about him?
I told you to keep it to yourself.
But you know how gossip travels. It was always going to get out.
I wanted control, how and when.
Post someone on the stairs guard in a storage room. And another guard in a...
Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
Excuse me, Miss Underdown?
The excited man with the camera.
That's me, Bernard d'Andrézy, but just Bernard.
Just Bernard. What? What makes you say that?
To be honest, I don't know. She talked on the deck about her and Lady Gerland. Use your brain next...
I'm afraid there isn't much to know.
I'm sure that can't be right. A beautiful, intelligent young woman like you?
Be careful. A girl could get used to such flattery.
Things seem to be going well. This voyage has a lot more potential than first expected. I should take this moment of awkwardness as a sign. Although, I may still be able to redeem myself.
We're all on this ship to relax, and having him on board has changed everything.
Only if you let it.
I suppose you're right. Thank you. Now, I have a question for you. What brought you on this voyage across the...
My work. I'm a photojournalist, or at least trying to be.
That would explain the camera.
It wasn't my initial plan. But if I could get a shot of Arsene Lupin, it would do wonders for my...
Go on.
What would you say to you and I trying to find Lupin ourselves?
Exciting would be one word.
You don't want him to ruin your trip. And if we don't do something, who will?
I wouldn't usually be so easily persuaded. Where would we even start? What do we know about Arsène Lupin?
We don't know how he did it, but it shouldn't be too hard to spot. We should look for someone with an injured arm. He's a master of disguise, but we can only work with what information we have. We should look for someone with blonde... Imagine there are a number of guests on board with that initial. We should try and narrow the...
Very astute, Monsieur d'Andrézy. Bernard. Anyone would think this isn't your first investigation.
There are many things you still have to learn about me. Monsieur Rosen!
Really? The gentleman from the deck?
Arsène Lupin is known as a master of disguise.
Don't hold me in suspense.
Do you think you could keep Monsieur Rosen distracted while I search his cabin for evidence?
And what am I to say to him?
Just be your ever-enchanting self.
That I can do.
Hey. The proof is here somewhere. If this doesn't impress Miss Underdown... Come on, think. There isn't time for mistakes. There isn't time for mistakes. One step closer to proving it. I think I'm getting the hang of this detective. Come on, think. One step closer to proving it. The proof is here somewhere. Come on, think. The proof is here somewhere. There isn't time for mistakes. I think I'm getting the hang of this detective thing.
So, you decided to take me up on my offer. I knew...
Yes. With that man on...
You've nothing to fear when Louis Rosaine is near.
I feel nauseous listening. I can only imagine how she feels. There is no time to waste. Hey. Huh.
So that's how the great Arsène Lupin was caught. By two amateur sleuths?
Are you questioning my storytelling?
No, it's just the newspaper reports didn't include anything of your claims.
Claims? It's the truth. The newspapers have never been worried with allowing the truth to get in the way of a good story. The good story I was just getting to.
I just think we'd benefit from hearing all sides of the story. At least about what Inspector Ganimard did when he boarded the ship. This is what I heard.